prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son? And what, the son of my womb? And what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink to him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause for all as such appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth forth her food from afar. She arises also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion of her maidens. She considereth a field and buyeth it with the fruit of her hands, and she planteth a vineyard. Proverbs chapter 31, verses 1 through 16. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. All praises to the Most High, all praises to the Most High. He is worthy to be praised. All glory to the Most High's name, that the Most High is ever to be exalted. For the Most High have gotten even the I Am, the victory. And in the Most High's victory, even is your victory. Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're walking with Mr. Clay. Yes, I'm Mr. Clay, and we're in the book of Job. Yes, there is so many things that Job has suffered. Many know the story of Job, but we're going to go with it, and we're going to deal with it and investigate this book line by line, chapter by chapter. But because this is the only way you will know the truth, as you go line by line, chapter by chapter, book by book, because there are so many deceivers in the world. I can take a newspaper and join the words together and make up my own story. But when I read the thing in context as what the author is saying, then I know what it said, regardless of what anybody else says, and I know the meaning of each word. Now from there, we can try to go and settle something. We have a foundation to set ourselves on. This is the true foundation, even the law. Now, let's investigate Job. We're in the book of Job, chapter 1. He tells about himself most of the time. Chapter 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. Now that land of Uz is near the Edomite, or the Mount Edom, where Edom was. And some say it's in other places near there, but you can say maybe Job was an Edomite. I mean, Job is also mentioned in the earlier books of the beginnings, the book of Jasher. Yes, the book of Jasher. he is mentioned. He says, and that man was perfect and upright, one that feared God and eschewed evil. Maybe he saw the way God had dealt with the different nations that Israel, even Jacob, had to deal with, and the sons of Jacob, and the strength and the powers and superpowers that God have, even according to the book of Jasher, have given to the sons of Jacob to defeat their enemies. And also you have where in the book of Jasher you had one of the tribes, even the tribe of, I think it was Levi. I believe it was Levi. I'm not going to go back to it. Judah, the tribe of Judah, yes. Tried to go and defeat the enemies, but God says it wasn't time yet. God's timing is everything. Your timing is nothing. You might get discouraged and go into sin, but when God times something and it's timed right, it is good for you. Good for everyone around you. That you get not leery, and as many have, even in this day and time, they go to seeking after other philosophies and other reasons of why God exists. This is the book, period. The book from Enoch all the way to Malachi. And whatever there is in between is the book. It is true. Most of it is true, and you can find those things that were inserted by reading the law and understanding how God moves. And when God says something, he is absolute. His timing is correct. So you have to familiarize yourself with all these books. The book from Enoch to Malachi. This is essential for the Israelite. Because if he doesn't, he will always be confused and always walk in idolatry. Because you will have gone to other gods. There is no other God beside the one. The only I am that I am. He says, I exist. This is all you need to know. I exist. I am that I am. Yes. I mean, it was written in Hebrew, but the fact is, basically, this is what he's saying. There is no beginning nor ending to me. He's the Most High is saying, I exist. And if you cannot fathom that, then you will automatically go into idolatry, trying to find someone like Jesus or Yahushua or whatever name they give, or the angel Gabriel and, Muhammad, and you got all these other pagan and offshoots of Christianity and Islam that have brought up their ludicrous claims about the Most High, when there's only one book, one law. That's it. Whether you agree or not, it is what it is. He said, now Job was, and that man was perfect. He was complete, upright. One that feared God and eschewed evil. Now, how did he come to this conclusion? By the things that are going on around him. He looked at it and said, I should serve God. And there were born unto him 7 sons, 3 daughters. 7 sons and 3 daughters. This man was truly blessed. His doors were guarded. There was nobody coming in or out of his place or his fields, because his sons took care of it. His substance was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 5 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household. Yes. So that this man was the greatest of all men in the east, or of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, and everyone his day, and he sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. In other words, they was ready to have a party. As you heard some of those of you who used to be Christians, or are Christians just viewing, trying to get an understanding, or even Islamists, they were having a party. They were celebrating. One thing about Israelites, as you read throughout the biblical account, I'm not talking about that 27 books should not even, 27 letters should not even be in the New Testament, or even near the Torah, or whatever, the Septuagint, the Pentateuch. It should not be there, nowhere. So they had a party. Israelites love celebrating, and Edomites, they were Shemites too. I mean, if he was an Edomite, he was also an man who knew God, because in that early day that Job existed, this was before the sons of Jacob. He existed before Jacob even became who he was, or even he was in the days of Abraham, the father of Jacob. This was a man who'd been around and knew and saw the works of the Most High. Yes. Now, he saw the works that God had done with Moses. Yes, he has. According to as I understand and I can recall. Yes, I would say that. Yeah. Okay. And they had made a feast. As it says, a feast. And he says now, everyone he called there is 3 sisters to eat and drink with him. Well, we're going to have a party. And it was so when the days of their feasting were gone about that Job sent and sanctified them. What they were feasting for, we don't know. It doesn't clarify that. Job sent and set them apart, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it might be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. See, Job was one that looked at, God bless me with these children. God bless me with these daughters and sons and my beautiful wife. God bless me with this. The Most High, the one that I saw deliver Moses, the one that I saw deliver Israel. God did it. That it may be my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. He always sacrificed. This was before the Levitical priest. And there was a day when the sons of God, or should I say the spirits of God, should be that God has no sons. That is a Greek. This is a misnomer. This is a Greek idiom, or whatever you want to call it. They say sons in order to make God, the pagan gods, equal to the creator, the I am that I am. This is where you have to really understand and know the Most High. The Most High created. Now God can watch over a person as a father, as a mother, but God is neither. God is a spirit. The Most High, the I am, the one that exists, is a spirit. And that spirit was the same spirit that moved upon the water according to these translators. Now, he says there was a day that the spirits of God came to present themselves before the I am. And a Satan came along among them. A Satan. This is not the Satan. Or Satan, that's not a name, that's just a certain thing they called the fallen spirits that were before God. He came among them. And the I am said unto the Satan, whence comest thou? Then the Satan answered the I am and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down it. And I'm sure he did that with reverence. And the I am said unto the Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? Now this Satan has a name, but this translator doesn't, or these translators does not know that name. They have certain names. They know the names in the books of Enoch, in the book of Jasher, in the book of Jubilees. The Satans have names. But now you get to the point where the Satans are just called Satan. Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and sheweth evil? And the Satan answered the I am and said, does Job fear God for nothing, or not, or the old English puts it? Hast thou not made an hedge about him, about his house, and about all that he hath on every side, that thou hast blessed the work of his hands? And his substance is increased in the land. Why? Because he honored God. He honored the I am. He honored him with daily sacrifices. He honored him as his king. This supposedly Edomite was greater than many. Yes. But put forth thy hand now. Let me show you something about Job, he's saying. And touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. He did that with reverence. And the I am said unto the Satan, behold, all that is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So the Satan went forth from the presence of the I am. See, you wonder what happens around you. You say, why God did, why God, oh God. If you're walking upright before God, God is doing the things around you to strengthen you. You're being tested because you have accusers. They are the Satans. They go around accusing. They do this. This is giving you a spiritual insight, a tidbit of what happens in the realm that you cannot see. So, here we go. So the Satan went forth from the presence of the I am. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. You know how we some do. You know, you go to your brother's house and y'all all grown and you just laughing and talking and having a glass of wine or whatever. There's no sin in no wine or a little shot of whiskey. There ain't no sin. The Bible doesn't even classify it as a sin. What it is, the fact of the amount that you drink and what it causes your heart to do. And your heart becomes susceptible to the sway of evil spirits. This is why he says, even in the Psalms, that kings and princes should not partake of these things, because it will pervert their judgment. It should be for those who are down or need to be made merry or maybe sick and need to not feel no pain. Yes, this is what he's saying. Now, they was in their brother's house in verse 14, and there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabaeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and only am escaped alone to tell thee. Evil spirits have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. Who swayed the Sabaeans to go against the servants of Job? Who swayed him? That Satan did. He has a name. Some of you call them devils. Now, let's put it again. Verse 16. He says, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven and have burnt up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I only am escaped to tell thee. And while he was yet speaking, here's that Satan working again, there came also another saying, the Chaldeans, he swayed the hearts and minds of the Chaldeans. Why is these evil spirits swaying the leadership of your country? Why are they swaying the leadership of your state? Why are they swaying the leadership of your city or your municipality or in your precinct? Some of you do not understand, and you judge God on these when God is saying, turn back to me. Job is a perfect example of understanding and knowing God. He says, don't understand in your your whatever you have accumulated of men, but understanding this, that you understand and know me. This is what God says. Now, let's continue. This is good. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the sons of thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their elder. This is even more of a bigger blow, in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Again, this Satan, he might have other Satans work with him, or with it, or that Satan. They're not male or females either. But apparently they sort of tend toward the male gender because of what happened with the Watchers. According to this narrative. There are other narratives out there. There's other, but we stick with the law. God put a law toward those spirit beings and told them, you will not lay with my creation that I created other than you. But they went against it. They desired, or desire, lust, covetousness, all the same. Evil is something that you are not supposed to do, or you do in violating that person's space or that person's rights. That is evil. See, you have to call a buck. See, they will fool you with evil. Oh, he's evil. In what way is he evil? This is what you have to ask. Because evil can mean many things. I could be evil against someone that has murdered another person, that I want justice. That's evil to them. Understand and know these things. It's better to get understanding. That way you will be more intelligent. Yes, you will. Now, here we go again. He says now, his sons and daughters and his servants are all dead. Verse 20, and Job arose and rent his mantle. He tore the cloak upon him. This is the English thing for a cloak. It's just like a blanket in a way. They wore the mantle not only for warmth, but for rain, and as it was a blanket too. Well, they had to lay out into the fields, yes. And shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. Well, you mean you're going to worship God for something like this? Because he feared God. He knew he was less than this entity that says I exist. He was less than this entity that is eternal. There is no ending. There was no beginning. This entity only exists and is holy. You cannot destroy him. Destroy this entity. You cannot destroy this entity. You cannot cause this entity to go away. No matter what kind of electricity or whatever you have, you do not know what this entity consists of. Consists of that and more. In that this entity can manipulate atmospheres and can manipulate anything, the course of things, and cause things to go according to this entity's will. We call this entity the I Am. Some of you call him Yahuwah or Yahweh. There is no Yahweh. This entity does not have sons. It does not beget of women that it has created. That's only something that the Greeks have put according to their mythology, which they stole from Egypt to try to control people. They read the book, Stolen Legacy. Now, he worshiped God. Oh, thank you. Thank you, most holy one, that I creator, you that exist. No birth, no death. You just exist. He worshiped God. And in verse 21, he said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. In other words, not nothing. The body that I have is nothing. Many of you don't take that seriously. We don't. And there are times even those of us that do take it seriously in our time of pride and whatever we going through, or we seem to leave that fact that one day you are going to die. In between that, you should be worshiping God. And the I am, he said, the I am gave, and the I am taketh away. Blessed be the name of the I am. He says they rendered here Lord or the owner. There are many owners, but there's only one I am. There's only one that just exists. No son, no nothing. This entity only created. And he set laws in motion for everything that this entity created. In all this, Job sinned not. He did not go and worship other gods. He did not charge God foolishly. No. But he worshiped God in understanding that it is not his call on nothing, even to those things that were closest to him, but that everything belongs, even what came out of him, even himself, belongs to the will and way of the Most High. But you know, in this day and time, and I'm going to stop, this day and time we have where men want to be God, but have not the wisdom. These are foolish men. Some of us, we look at them as wise. They want to control you, but you notice the only thing man can control man with is money. And with that money, he controls men to do his bidding against other men, nations, peoples, families, whatever you want to call it. This is how this works with men. And men are swayed in their minds by evil spirits, which they know not. So this is why the evil spirits we call Satans confuse man to make him sway away from the Most High, to make him go and think that he is all and that it's his own thoughts that he done things. And the only way you can, it's the New Testament says, would think on these things. No, that's pagan. Yeah, good things happen and philosophies are good. That's all Ecclesiastes. That's what we're going to be in next, Ecclesiastes. And also the books of wisdom. There are many books of wisdom. They are pagan. There are all kind of books that have wisdom in them. You know, we can tell that's wisdom because we see these things happening before us. They only take those things and says, what good can I get out of this? So wisdom is one thing, but God is another. God created wisdom. Wisdom is a nurturer to the soul. That's why wisdom is rendered as a she in the Septuagint, Torah, or Pentateuch. It's rendered as she. It's not there's no such thing as feminine energy. Some men walk around what we have been supposed as feminine energy. A baby only knows a mama as a mama and daddy is daddy. That's it. They don't know no feminine energy or no, if a dad nurtures a baby, is just as good as a mother nurturing a baby. But God has given that over to the woman. He made her body to the Most High made the body of the woman, whether it is or female, whether it be animal or human. He made that body to nurture that offspring. From the time it is formed in the man and goes into the woman to form another being, and that being comes out to be in the likeness somewhat of them both. From the roach to the elephant, yes, and then the human. God made everything to copulate and multiply after its kind. Yes, he did. But we know in all this, God did not charge, Job did not charge God foolishly. Like we see many on social media and different things trying to find ways around God, trying to figure out God. you're not going to figure him out. You're not going to figure God out, because God only exists. That mystery is not for you. Why you concern yourself with it? And with all that, if we only keep his commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws, we will have peace.